Welcome to Cheese in Depth. I'm Michael Landis, and today we're marinating some feta. And this goes into many different types of recipes. You can use this as an appetizer right on French bread, or you can add it into a salad, or you could bake it with chicken or fish. So it has a lot of applications, and you can make this ahead of time. So we're going to start off with some feta, and this happens to be a French sheep's milk feta. Now, traditionally, Greek feta is where it originated from. And so this is a barrel aged, which gives us a little bit more robust flavors. This is what I'm going to use for chicken because I want it to be a little bit more robust. For my salads and for my fish, I'm going to use this a little bit milder version, which is still sheep's milk. You want to look for sheep's milk, not the cow's milk, as you get a little bit more richness, a little bit more butter. It has a better blend of flavors in it. So let's go ahead and start off here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to chop up my herbs. And I'm going to start off with my oregano. Now you just need to chop it nice and fine. You're not going to need the stems, so you can get rid of the stems and just work with the oregano. Now you can use any amounts that you really want. The really key here is the style that you prefer. That's the most important. You can use what we have here is we have oregano, rosemary, and thyme, but you can also add in other flavors to it. You can add in garlic, you can add in peppercorns or pepper. You can make it any way that you want. So how much do I need? All right, well, what I'm doing here is I have 4 containers that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to do 4 ounce versions, so I'll have plenty to be able to work with. Now they can be all single servings, or they could be one recipe, but I like to have them into single serving. So if you want to make a salad, add a salad, you can do that. If you want to have a little bit of an appetizer, you can do that. So it gives you a lot of flexibility either way. And I'm using the little 4 ounce jars. They've already been cleaned and sanitized. So I'm chopping this up to be about, I would say, 1 tablespoon. All right, and that's all we're going to need. And basically, we're going to be dividing it up into 4 because we have 4 different ones. All right, so there we go. We have, so I'm going to strip the rosemary off the stem. Because again, we're not going to need the stem. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt, but it's just, it's too woody. And you want to just have enough. Again, we're just going to need about a total of 1 ounce or 1 tablespoon for each. And you want to chop these up fine enough so you're not biting into sticks, just a little bit. Now, you know, some people like to use the dried, and being that it's going to be semi-reconstituted with olive oil, then, you know, that probably wouldn't be a bad thing. But I just like how much flavor that you get out of fresh. And the same thing, just strip off the thyme. Now, you know, thyme can be a little bitter, but it adds a nice contrast, and I really like that. Okay, so I have my 3 herbs done. This is L'Abraso, and it is 100% French sheep's milk. It's actually made by with the milk of a Lacan sheep, which is the same milk that they use for raw fruit. Now, this is going to be a little wet, so I'm going to pat it down. All right, so you have 8 ounces here. So we can do this in 4s or a total of 16. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to cut it in half. Then I'm going to cut it in half again. Now, so each one of these is going to be 4 cubes. So now I'm going to cut it in half again. Cut it in half again. And then when I cut this one in half, this is going to be my 4 cubes. This is going to be my 4 cubes. That's simple. So now what I need to do is add my olive oil. And this is Piro. And this is 100% extra virgin oil. And the one beautiful thing about this is that this is hand pressed. Now, this goes along with the video that we shot previously. So I suggest that you take a quick look at that, because this is one of the most expensive olive oils on the market. All right, so we just need 1/4 of a cup. I know it doesn't seem very much, but it's going to be more than enough for this recipe. So now what we do is we add in our herbs. So now what I do is I'm going to take my 4 cubes, 1, very gently. 2, 3, and number 4. And then I'm just going to take some of my olive oil and herbs. Drizzle in some more olive oil. So that's really it. Now, so what would I pair with this? Well, I would start off with a nice Chianti, a nice Sangiovese, works really well. You can, again, with the bread, with any of the chicken or the fish recipe, works very well. If you're into white wine, then I would go with a nice Pinot Grigio. Theo is a really nice Pinot Grigio. It's 100% Italian, and it gives you some nice fruitiness along with some nice acidity. But you're thinking, well, I'm a beer drinker, so I want a little bit of beer. Well, then I would go with the Blue Moon, the white ale. Reason for that is because you don't need a lot of hops on this, but you need something kind of bready. And that's what you're really going to get from this. You're going to get the nice carbonation, and you're going to get a little sweetness of the ale. And so that's the direction that I'd go. Again, a simple recipe would be taking this and spreading it over French bread and eating it on like that with the herbs and the cheese together. Or another alternative would be to bake it on top of a fish or a chicken. So you could have that as a chicken breast or as a fillet of fish, and let it marinate into there and have a little bit of those herbs on top of it. So it'll be really easy. And that's it. That's all there is to marinating. Now you would want to leave this in the refrigerator I would say overnight or at least 8 hours to be able to get it to marinate and to get all those flavors together. So pretty easy and delicious.